What is going on, people? Welcome to Thoroughbred Talks. This is my only solo podcast. This is your boy Woozilla, aka the CEO of RTG, from the Run Those Games podcast, the Pass Ox podcast, and just the whole unit as a whole. With this podcast, I decided to have my own, where I basically do my rants that used to be on my Instagram page and Twitter every now and again, and actually on my YouTube back in the day, essentially in long form. Now this podcast is basically going to contain, things that I know and talk about. So gaming, music, the occasional nerd topics, and overall life in general. Now we're going to get into the deeper topics at hand towards the end of the show, as well as specific topics depending on what episode we on, or depending if I get questions or not. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Go ahead, take your shoes off, sit your chair back, get you a little drink or something, because you have to be vibing to my boy, shout out to the homie Biggie, with his Easter Pink beat. Make sure you go check him out on SoundCloud and all that. But let's go ahead and get on to the show. Now, first things first, let's go ahead and talk about some of this game in action. Now, if you listen to the Run Those Games podcast, you would know by now that the PS5 has got some confirmed, specs and releases, things like that, such as 8K, ray tracing, some PS4 backwards compatibility. I can't English. English is very difficult. Backwards compatibility and things of that sort. All that's fine and dandy, but the biggest question is pricing, longevity, of course, the games. Longevity is going to come down to, what games are going to be releasing and things of that sort. Because if they go along the lines of what they've been doing with, with the previous generations of, having the usual 2K Madden, Call of Duty, Battlefield, that's all fine and dandy, but those are multiplats. Give me a reason to want to buy your console day one, or I'm just going to stay with my console until you get more games that are going to drop with it. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's no point in me ditching my PS4, which I love, by the way. This is my baby right here. If I'm going to just basically playing the same things, just, I guess, at a higher resolution. And if that's the case, I got a whole PC. You feel me? So we need exclusives out here in these streets if you're going to go ahead and release a new console. Now, there's no confirmed release date or anything about when it's going to come out, but we can expect to get some type of preview at E3 this year, where they might show a little trailer or, some type of a couple innuendos about it, but nothing to get too excited about. Other little quick gaming hits is people are saying that Sekiro needs to be an easy mode on Sekiro. My opinion on this, as somebody who's not a fan of, the lips is ashy. Hold up. We do this live, by the way. I don't give a good goddamn, cause y'all ain't finna be frying me in the damn YouTube comments. Nah, fam. We is not going out like that. So, as I was saying, people are saying that Sekiro needs an easy mode. Not the diehard fans, hell, not even some of the people who picked up the game. This is some people's, I guess, first FromSoft game, if that's the company, if I'm correct. Forgive me if I'm incorrect in that statement as far as developers go. But games like that don't need an easy mode, because they give you that sense of satisfaction of that you conquer something that is difficult. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. Both, literal, metaphorical, and also in the gaming sense. Some of your best or proudest gaming moments is when you conquered something that was extremely difficult. For instance, I've said this on multiple podcasts and streams. Proudest moment for me was beating Sephiroth on the hardest difficulty on Kingdom Hearts. I think it was 2. Proudest moment, because literally forehead veins. Another proud moment was beating, Tekken 4 story mode with Jin Kazama, because you had to fight Kazuya and Heihachi 2 different times. That was very difficult. But those are moments that last in my head because they were difficult, but I prospered. So people were saying that security is easy mode. No, it doesn't. You just need to, for lack of better words, just get good. Just learn the game, learn the controls. You can't just run in here gung-ho. Learn different routes, tactics. Hell, look up, tutorials on YouTube about how to, play the game better. It's not difficult to Google it, but to flat out say, oh, it needs an easy mode. No, it doesn't. The game is not designed with the intent to be easy. It's designed to challenge you. Because, not even like it or not, but honestly, games are becoming dramatically easier. The more that we get along advancing gaming and shit like that, games are becoming easier. So games like Sekiro, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, well, I'm not a fan of them because I just don't like the mechanics of them. I don't like the way they feel. That's just my personal preference. I can respect the game itself because it's designed to be difficult, to give you that challenge, to basically test your mettle. I could appreciate that. So the problem with it is it's more along the lines of the issue, like with everybody having social media, gives, you know, the village idiot the voice, and it lets people complain for the sake of complaining, and it basically amplifies this whole group thinking, where if I say something somebody else agree, or somebody else agree, we're obviously right type thing, and that's just horribly incorrect, especially in this type of space. Because no, Sekiro does not need an easy mode. Let it be difficult, learn the game, and when you beat it, you're gonna realize that you were a lot better at the game than you actually thought you was. But that's just too logical, ain't it? Other little gaming quick hits that I actually have on my notes. Oh, Mortal Kombat is actually dropping next week. I think it drops on the 26th. Hold up, we got a whole computer here with Google on it, so let's go ahead and search this thing real quick. MK11. Yep, it comes out the 23rd, so Tuesday. So that got everybody hype. A lot of people got the game early and things of that sort. I'm probably gonna cop it, play it, dish out some L's, take a few L's coming up to get a Mortal Kombat. I'm a Tekken guy, y'all know this already. So that's about it as far as my gaming hits go. I'm just gonna give y'all a couple, you know, little bangers here and there, just a couple pinpoints. I'll do more in-depth stuff if I play the game, then I'll give y'all my first impressions about games that are new, but we kind of already covered most of this stuff in the Run Those Games podcast. Make sure you go check that out, available on all platforms, including SoundCloud. Know what I mean? So let's jump to some music now. 2019 has been an interesting year for music, mostly due to the fact that most albums that I've wanted to listen to were good, like extremely good. Anonymous' album, There Is No Threat, fire. I've had that on repeat. Actually, yeah, I've had that on heavy repeat now I think about it. 2 Chainz' album, rapper to Go to the League or whatever, fire, because I had no idea 2 Chainz was actually a really good rapper like that. Call me ignorant, I'll hold that up. I did not know. He just had a couple bars and a few songs here and there that I fucked with. Even T-Pain's album, One Up, was fire. But other albums that have dropped, Yellow Wolf has dropped Trunk Music Volume, I think it's Volume 3. That one is all right. I'll give my more in-depth thoughts on the Past the Ox podcast. I will say it's cool. It has the bass in it, but it didn't give me that Trunk Music Volume 2, you know, Box Chevy, or, you know, the self-titled track Trunk Music. It ain't give me none of that. Like, I ain't really get that. Like, Catfish Bill is pretty cool, but like, I gave a few listens, but it wasn't, you know, nothing that had me like on the edge of my seat, like, you know, just needs to be on the playlist type stuff. Adon's album, on the other hand, There Is No Threat. That album is fire front to back, and it even features a TBH on the song Smoke, which he actually did drop some bars on there, not like rapping bars, but like just overall, like just hot shit. You know, a lame nigga with money still a lame nigga with money. Like, that's a fact right there. But the best songs on that album to me is There Is No Threat, Sundown, Radical Forever is probably always gonna be like one of my favorites, and 25 to Life. Those are like my top 4 on that album. But the whole album is good from front to back. Also, to Sakari's album, what is it? Lone Wolf. That album's interesting, mostly due to the fact that it's a vibe album, but not my type of vibe. It's just not. It really isn't. It's one of those albums where you how do I put this? It honestly feels like Zakari's album is good if you're in high school. And I don't mean that with any disrespect whatsoever, but I couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. It just seemed like a real, like, if you're in high school, you probably gravitate towards that album. And oddly enough, there are some like tracks. I think the one that he has with Lil Yachty, where it actually does, like, he actually does talk about like school and shit like that. And Lil Yachty has a couple bars in there about, you know, high school wasn't for me and things of that sort. Teach His Own. That album as a whole is just not for me. It was good. Not to say that it was trash. It wasn't trash, but it just wasn't for me. That's all it is. And as for other news, this isn't necessarily completely new news, but I feel like it should be talked about, at least since I have my own like platform now, where Nipsey Hussle had passed away. well, he was murdered, but passed away just seems to sound a lot better, actually. Very sad, and I will say this is actually one of the first hip-hop like deaths that I actually felt. And there's this tweet that went around that said I wasn't around for Biggie and Pac, so I didn't necessarily get like the first-hand feel of it, but like I was around for Nipsey, and this one I actually felt like the energy just felt off. But with that being said, there is a certain amount of beauty that has came along after his passing. And I mean by this is like, it seems that his music is hitting on a whole different level. I'm not gonna sit and be like, act like I'm a super fan of Nipsey. I didn't know about him since I was like, I want to say about in high school or 8th grade, one of the two. I think it was the Bullets Ain't Got No Name tape. I think it was 3. Whichever the tape was that had the Hustle Way on it, that was like when I started listening to him. And overall, it seems like his message is like now resonating with people as far as, you know, entrepreneurship, ownership. You know, people have been talking about buying back the block for a while now, and we do have people who are out here, you know, putting in that work. You know, you got Killer Mike, Trader Truth, T.I.'s out here, and I know I'm missing one's gonna kill me. Did I say Killer Mike already? Trader Truth, Killer Mike, T.I., and I feel like I'm missing one. It's gonna bite me now. It's gonna bother me. I can't remember the top of my head, but there are people who are out here putting in the groundwork. But it's beautiful to see that people are really starting to actually listen now, because it's really hard for me to actually fully explain this thing, and I've been trying to like go over this in my head a lot, like try to iron this out. But it seems like all the stuff that he's been talking about in his music is like now starting to make sense to people, because people always been hearing it. Like I've even said it last year, Victory Lap was my favorite album of 2018, bar none. And it seems like all the stuff that he was like been talking about, been preaching, you know, buying back the block, entrepreneurship, ownership, and he's always said like I own my masters and things like that. It seems like people are really starting to get on their like their grind twice as hard now since his passing. And the best thing, or not, I don't want to say the best thing, because his passing is not the best thing, but the good that's coming out of it is that since he owns his masters, I think Victory Lap is like number 2 on the billboards, and since he owns his masters, all that money is going to his family, and that's a great thing. So not only are you helping out Nipsey postmortem or postpartum, you're helping yourself because you're putting yourself even more on game. I mean, shout out to my man Biggie. His sister actually opened up her own, I think her own cupcake business, which is dope. Make sure you go support the homie's family and whatnot. I mean, I just like seeing that. I don't like seeing, you know, murder or death in any type of way, and I definitely don't like when it's somebody who I actually respect it. It bothers me a lot. But it seems like what's coming from this is more power. Like he said in one of his songs, I think it was Loaded Bases, he was all like, we're not supposed to make it, and he said like, we're not supposed to make it when we come back and we start talking, it's like we're speaking a coded language because we escaped the Matrix. He's like, and we remind our people of all the power and all the stolen greatness. And it seems like people are now starting to come into their own now when it comes to this type of stuff. And I just really, really hope that we as a people continue on this, like, this more positive type of path of, like, you know, ownership, entrepreneurship, you know, realizing that not every now, I don't want to fully dive into the life section yet, we're gonna get in that, but realizing that not every action deserves a violent reaction. Like, there's ways to, you know, put aside differences besides, you know, picking up a pistol, you know, putting these things up. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, it's crazy because even, like, you know, the older people I talked to or whatnot, like, they didn't know much about Nipsey. Christ, forgive me. About Nipsey. I got cotton mouth, that's why. Give me a second. Sweet tea from Popeyes. Fire. But like, since like his passing and whatnot, they're listening to his music and, like, you know, he was actually spitting some real shit. Or they're like, I didn't necessarily know much about him, but I did my research afterwards and I seen like what he was doing. I mean, the man literally bought back bought the like entire like complex or whatever that he used to hustle from or whatever, opened up his own shop, employed people in his own neighborhood, employed felons who couldn't get a job nowhere else, and was paying them like a good livable salary for one. Dog, like that is like legit king type moves right there. And employing people who look like us, or you know, employing black people, whatever, and giving opportunities to those who wouldn't have an opportunity anywhere else. That's why I think this has such an impact on like not only like just hip hop culture, but like just like culture in general. Like the man led by example, and the funeral was, I'm not gonna lie, it was sad, but it was like just that celebration of like his life and his legacy and what he did. And the when his brother went to speak, that was touching on a whole different level. And like that's his little brother right there. And for him to be that strong and still be able to like, you know, like just hold that, like just keep composed through all that pain is admirable. Same with all his family, like, because I would not want to imagine what it'd be like if like my older brother, because like I'm the youngest, but I would not want to imagine like if my older brother passed or something like that. Like I'd be an emotional wreck. So I nothing but my respects and my condolences to that family for being just that strong. Like that's a whole nother level of strength. And the story that his brother told about him, about Nipsey basically going to like a computer auction and building a computer out of computer parts, like reading, you know, magazines, learning how to build it, and then recording, and then getting music software. And this is before we are spoiled now. Like we're spoiled now. Like I can get music software for free on the internet right now, record a song today and put it on SoundCloud the same day, get up like a quick little art image or whatever off on Photoshop real quick and have a song just like that, just that quick. But he did that back when it was more difficult. Like his vision was just crazy. Like that, man, that shit was just phenomenal. Just to hear about all that. So all I gotta say about this situation, it is utterly sad, and it still feels weird because like the energy still feels off. Like people are, I don't want to say getting over it, because it seems like everybody's still like mourning, but it seems like while the energy might be off, like people are still trying to make the best out of it. And essentially people are in that mental space of like, you know, what would Nipsey do? And I don't mean that like, you know, in like every situation, but I mean like as far as like making business moves and things of that sort, we're just trying to, you know, make sure they're moving right and moving off of, you know, their mental instead of, you know, all emotional. And this it's really sad. It's ultimately sad because if I've never personally seen like a rapper that I like pass away untimely, and it affects me. Like it actually bothered me. Like I still am like in some disbelief about it. But you know, you really can't do nothing but just celebrate the life that he lived and everything he did, and take the blueprint that he laid down and make your own power moves and put yourself in power and put those around you in positions of power, and basically essentially empower your family, your community, and things of that sort. Like that's the main thing that's like been sticking out. It's just like self-empowerment and empowering others. That's literally like the biggest, like the big picture. You know how people like talk about like, you know, big pictures, things like that? That's something that I've actually, you know, been opening up my eyes more and more to, is like the big picture, you know, the 5-year plans. Like where do you see yourself 5 years from now? You know, taking the baby steps in order to, you know, get to where you want to be. And the biggest quote is, you know, the marathon continues, because life is, some people take life or whatever they do and essentially think that it's a sprint. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like it's not about who could take off the fastest, it's about who could last the longest and, you know, finish the race. And I forgot the last dude who spoke at his funeral. I forgot his name. Oh, it's gonna bother me. But he said something that was very, I guess, prolific in a sense. He said how, I don't want to misquote him, but essentially what he was saying was how like you know, beautiful is it that his debut album, because think about it, Nipsey had basically nothing but mixtapes. That's all he was doing. He had mixtapes, just tape after tape after tape, bangers, the whole nine. Something in the back of his truck for, I think it was like what, $100 or something like that. So he's seen his vision already. Like, he knew he's putting out quality. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about the stuff that, you know, people were celebrating his life of. But the dude at the end of the funeral basically said, he was all like, think about it, his debut album was named Victory Lap. A victory lap is the lap that you take after you have won the race. That shit stuck out to me because I didn't put two and two, like, I didn't even think about it like that. And it's like, he came and did what he had to do, and while we might not be, you know, ready or willing, like, he basically put that blueprint, that imprint on all of us already. And that was just, not gonna lie, that was just dope, like how he put that. Or like how Snoop said when like how his first interaction with Nipsey, he was all like, most people, you know, they come up to me and they give me their CDs or whatever, and they're like, you know, put me on, I got the heat, I got that fire. It's like Nipsey came up with us all like, hey, just give us a listen. It's like, wait, you don't want nothing from me? You don't want to get put on nothing? He's like, nah, just listen to it. And then how we told him, like, you know, he was like he didn't play that for like a few months or something like that, and then he was like in his tour bus rolling one up, and he just said, you know, I'm putting it on. And he put it on. He's all like, yo, cuz it's hard. It was a bunch of stories that were just dope, and it just showed you how, like, he didn't want for nothing. Like, he was gonna get it on his own one way or another. And that's basically all I could, like, say about this. It's just, you just need to just put yourself in a position of power and empower others. And while this is definitely sad, and it's definitely going to be a void, not just in hip-hop, because, like, he was a businessman first, and, like, he was, like, if anything, he was a businessman first who was just really good at rapping. Like, he was like, just that, like, that's the thing, like, he was a businessman first, if you think about, like, all the power moves he was making, and he was just like a very talented rapper, which is hard for a lot of people to even, like, just be decent at rapping. So the fact that he could do business and rap and buy back the block, empower, you know, people in his neighborhood, things like that, is just great. So it is sad, but celebrate the life that he lived, and, you know, take notes off the blueprint that he laid out. Just that easy. That's basically all I got to say about that. But let me go ahead and tell y'all a little bit about, you know, some I don't want to say happier news, but some other news or whatever. Your boy got back into a basketball league for one, and I gotta say, that's, you know, it's funny I say that, and, you know, my screensaver is Kuroko Basketball. Fire ass anime you need to check out. I got back into a basketball league, and it is very, very shocking to me how I cannot play the game as far as organized for like weeks to sometimes months at a time. But it's like, as soon as I get on that court, it just clicks. Like, I know where I'm at, I know where I'm supposed to be, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and I ain't telling none of y'all, because in the case that one of y'all might want to check me, I'm just gonna make you assume that, you know, I can't go right because I'm left-handed. Then you find out real quickly I'm ambidextrous. But it was a dope game. I mean, we lost our very first game. It sucked horrible ass. The team that I have, our team name is MH187, and it you know what? Hold up. Let me find that for y'all real quick. Give me a second, people. Give me one good second, because I got to try to find this. It's going to take me a minute. It's actually not even going to take me a minute. I actually just got to get to the website. ababasketball.org. So if you go to ababasketball.org, you'll see my team and the whole nine. Now, we lost our first game, but the team that I'm actually playing for is actually really good. I mean, shout out to my boy Mel, and we had the pleasure of playing a team that we should have beat, but we ran into the age-old issue of essentially tiring ourselves out because we play, you know, fast-paced basketball, right? And that's good until you get, you know, winded. And that is essentially what happened to us. We got winded very quickly, and it kind of bit us in the ass because we was up by 15, and then we just, you know, just lost the lead. Now I'm about to pull up the website right now to see if I can actually find it. And the dope thing about this league, we actually like get trophies and rings. They do like sneakers of the week, players of the week. They do a bunch of stuff on here. So yeah, here we go. Now this is all behind me, by the way. So our team, I think we, let me see, points. Most hated. We had the total in steals. Well, our point guard had is the leader in steals or whatever. He's actually tied for first with 3. And yeah, this is about to be interesting. Now, if you're wondering how exactly I play, I'm a role player. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, essentially how I play is I just know my role, which is play defense, guard my matchup, the whole nine. So here's actually the game film. I'm just gonna let it play behind me. So yeah, here we go. So with this game back here, I'm actually not the tallest person on the team. That is great for me. I am so tired of being the tallest dude on every team I ever played for. Essentially, it gets highly old. Now, in some of this game film, you will see some of the breakdowns that we've had in this game. Along with other news, your boy, if you ain't know by now, I'm a bowler as well. I'm a hooper, I'm a bowler, I'm a YouTuber, Twitch streamer. I do a lot of shit, baby. I do a lot of shit. And I've actually gotten better. I've actually led, I think I had like the highest, I think like game in like with handicapped or something like that. I'm out here in these streets. Now that's about it as far as like the personal news goes. Like that's what I'm gonna tell y'all about. Until then, you can just watch the game film and kind of sort of in the back because I'm busy blocking it. Now let's go ahead and talk about some life advice and things of that sort. Let's go ahead and get on into it. We're gonna dive into the topic of this weird cancel culture over old tweets type shit. Because I actually want to talk about this, I just never got around to it. So I don't understand cancel culture whatsoever in the sense of bringing up old shit. I mean, everybody named mama like love bringing up old shit. I don't get it. People like getting mad at you for who you were, but they don't talk about who you are. Because they assume that just because you were, you know, wilding out in like 2011, which everybody was wilding out, hell, the early 90s, Jesus, everybody was wilding out. They assume that just because you were that way then, you're still the same now, and it makes zero amount of sense. I mean, the day that I become popping, y'all might, I don't even know, I doubt it. I didn't really tweet much when I had Twitter. But God forbid that y'all find some shit that I might have said on a podcast or like on a video, and all of a sudden it's all like, oh, he's the same way. Let it be known, I'm not apologizing for shit that I have said in the past. I have not, you know, said it since. Because obviously, like, people don't allow people to grow. And I think that's where my irritation comes from. Don't allow people to grow. When you do nothing but get mad at what somebody said or did, you know, years ago, the thought process becomes, and what's the fucking point if you're just gonna get mad, right? And you know, the solution to it is, you know, just be a good person, right? But it's like, I am a good person, so why the fuck am I getting ridiculed 24/7 about something I said when I was like 13? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't, and it's like, it's so wishy-washy as far as like it goes, because like you never want to get mad at the people who are actually out here doing foul shit or actually being foul, right? You get mad at the people who are actually putting in, you know, work, or, you know, putting in being more positive and things of that sort, like, you know, being good people essentially. And you'd be like, oh well, this can't be real. It can't be that good. Let me go ahead and go back to 2009. Like, really though? Like, that shit's dumb. So I don't get it. Like, and the funny thing about cancel culture that I think is quite hilarious is that you call it cancel culture, right? Oh, we're not doing this, we're not buying this, we're not supporting this, and the third. But the more that y'all tweet about it, the more that y'all talk about some person who might have said some foul stuff, like previously, like in the past, I'm like, you do realize that the more that you constantly start running your mouth and talking about them, the more publicity you're giving them in the end, because somebody is going to run across it and be like, I actually like what this person's doing or what they're saying, etc., etc. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you're not helping the cause. Like, you're not thinking straight. Now, cancel culture in the sense of, you know, if somebody's being racist or just completely and totally foul, like, yeah, alright then. But don't sit there and talk about how you're not going to support them because there's somebody who is going to, and they didn't know this person before, but because you're constantly talking about them, they're going to rock with them. So if you act like they don't exist, the same way you act like certain rappers don't exist, guess what happens? They disappear. And some people that, you know, say wild stuff like out the window anyways, do that for their reaction. So people just be like, oh, we're canceled. I can't believe you said that. Guess what you do? If you don't react to it, then they disappear. Then they have nothing to go off of. At that point, you're basically exposing them for just saying it. Just say it. You don't give them a reaction, the reaction they want. It works out into your favor. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. Just think smarter. That's it. And that's just cancel culture. I just need to get that off real quick because it seems like that's just a concept that just does this every time. Just over people's heads. Just over people's heads. It's highly annoying. Now, let me go ahead and give y'all some life advice real quick. Let me go ahead and take a swig of this iced tea because I've actually been talking without stopping. My apologies. I'll get better at pacing. Let it be known, sweet tea fire. I don't care what nobody says. Now, happiness. I've said this in my Instagram video before that, you know, you can't allow nobody to steal your happiness. And I fully mean that. Because we live in such like a validation era, you know, due to social media and things of that sort, where it's like, let me post this pic, and if it doesn't get a certain amount of likes, and I don't feel validated. Because when you get those likes, you know, dopamine kind of goes off in your head where you're all like, ooh, that feels good and shit like that, right? But you can't allow your happiness or your validation to come from, you know, this thing. You can't do that. It doesn't work out in your favor. Happiness literally comes from your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual. I truly believe that, and I actually know that, because people sometimes they'll put their happiness in material items, you know, so like their cars, their clothes, shit that could be stolen, burned down, you know, at any time. You feel me? Things of that sort. Like, for instance, my house got broken into, like, I want to say like a year ago, right? PS4 taken. I was mad. I was pissed off. But it puts things in perspective. I'm like, all that's gone, but like, you know, my family's straight. You know what I mean? So the glass is always half full. Like, my house is still here. I still got a car. You know, I still got a job. Like, I can still fund everything that I, you know, enjoy doing, from, you know, going out to shooting, you know, bowling, things of that sort. You know, I could do stuff that makes me happy. And a lot of stuff comes from people are not happy with themselves. Like, if you're not happy with yourself, then you're not going to understand how to be happy with others or around others. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, it sounds weird and real, like, pseudo deep, but it's actually just that simple. You need to learn how to be happy with yourself. You need to learn how to be content with yourself. A lot of people aren't content with themselves. They don't feel worthy. They feel inadequate. They feel, you know, worthless. Like, a lot of people, they don't understand the concept of self-worth. Like, every day that you're on this earth, you bring some amount of value to something. You gotta find, like, you gotta find your I don't want to say your worth, but you basically essentially just gotta understand, like, that you're worthy and whatever, but, you know, you're how can I put this? It's weird. Like, I'm trying to explain it, but it's like I'm trying to put it simple for y'all to understand it. Essentially, you just got to know what makes you happy. And when you understand what makes you happy, you feel like up here, like can't nothing like really take you down if like you always feel like happy with yourself and shit like that. Nothing, like nobody can't trick you off your money, can't nobody, you know, make you feel any type of way. You feel what I'm saying? Because you got to look at it like this. You can't allow somebody who's talking shit about you in their fucking profile pictures a Twitter egg or like a no profile picture to piss you off. You can't do that. They're not happy with themselves to show themselves. So why should you even bother doing anything? I mean, you know, giving them your energy or your time or anything like that. A lot of shit comes from that because, you know, you're just not comfortable with yourself. So you feel like, oh, I gotta prove something. Oh, I gotta prove something. I gotta prove shit to you. Like, let me break it down for y'all like this. I'm a small Twitch streamer in like the grand scheme of things. Like I have 100 and something followers or whatever, right? I get about five to six on a bad day, like 3 people in my streams on a regular, right? And I love everybody who comes to my streams. Don't get me wrong, like I appreciate everybody who comes to my streams. I love y'all for real. But I put my hands up because I was watching the game film and I see myself in the video. My bad. But you know how like every now and again I'll get, you know, the random racist person who's supposed to come in here and like talk about slavery and like I own you, or they call me the N-word or shit like that. Biggie always laughs because he'll see it late because I've already blocked the person, like I've already banned the person. Like I don't hesitate because I'm not gonna let you steal my joy. Because if I'm streaming, I'm already like happy. I like streaming. I like talking to my boys. I like gaming and shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so when that happens, all I do, I just block you. I'll rip. Like, I ain't going back and forth. I'm not gonna let you get the satisfaction of, you know, oh, I got him. Oh, I made him mad. You didn't make me mad at all. Like, all you did was just make yourself look dumb because you out here talking hella reckless to just get blocked. Because not only am I not gonna respond to you at all, I'm just gonna block you and keep it moving, act like you don't exist. And Biggie gets a laugh out of that every time I do it. He's like, you just don't say nothing. You just keep it moving. I'm like, yeah. Because they want that reaction. You're not gonna fuck up my happiness. In the words of Lil Duval, I'm not gonna let no fuck nigga get no shine off of me. Seriously. Matter of fact, really, think about that. Think about that one quote right there. And it's just as simple as I'm not gonna let nobody fuck up my happiness. So if I'm happy, I'm not letting you mess that up. Every day that you wake up on this earth is a blessing. Regardless of what position you're in, regardless of what the hell you were going through. You control your future. You control your destiny, you control whatever the hell you do. The problem is, and I've actually done this before, and I've actually, you know, I've admittedly been through this type of shit where I get mad at shit that I can't control. You know, I become stressed out, I become anxious and things like that. I become very irate because if I can't control it, I don't know how to necessarily react to it. And there's just some things that you just genuinely just can't control. You feel what I'm saying? You can't control somebody else's emotions towards you, their feelings towards you. You can't control somebody's, you know, thought process. You can't control somebody else's, you know, reaction to certain situations. You can't assume that everybody's going to react to a situation like how you would, regardless of how logical it may be, regardless of how much it might actually work. You can't assume that everybody's going to be like you. And once you understand that, you'll be a lot happier. Once you worry about just you and the things that you control and the people around you, like, you know, your family and friends, like once you just worry about, not necessarily like worry in a bad way, but once you know, you get like that solid foundation, you're good. It's just that easy. Essentially, just be happy with yourself and just be, you know, just understand that you're one of one and there's no point in worrying about shit that you just can't control. And you'll be a lot happier. And find something that you enjoy doing, because that's where a lot of happiness will come from. Find something you enjoy doing. I enjoy gaming. I enjoy, you know, hanging out with my friends because I get to, you know, decompress. Because if I'm behind a screen, I'm in front of a camera damn near all day. I'm always talking. I'm doing content. So when I finally get to decompress with my friends and put, you know, this thing away essentially and not, you know, be recording or nothing, or I'm just chilling, I feel good. Like my brain feels relaxed. I get to, you know, just be myself, but not have to, you know, be in front of a camera and shit like that. I like bowling. I love bowling. That's probably a strong second behind basketball for me now. Like, I love bowling. I love that shit. But, you know, I like basketball. Like, I have things that I enjoy doing that put my mind at ease. And when that happens, you feel better. You know, just be happy. Like, it's funny how people are like, I just want to be happy. And fucking be it. And then they'd be like, well, I can't be. I'm like, why not? Like, why can't you be happy? Well, you know, I got these bills, I got this and the third, and it's all like, it's like, you got a job, right? Yeah. And you can pay them bills. He's like, yeah, but you know, I just got, you know, like a lot to pay for. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but you had to understand that that comes with being an adult. So you could either choose to constantly complain about it, constantly worry about it, or you can do the better thing about it is handle it. Because you can handle it. Obviously, you got this far with it. And, you know, you can control your financial situation. I mean, you could invest, you could get a side hustle. You have plenty of things that you can do in order to, you know, have some side cash. You know, some side money to go out and do what you got to do. Or, you know, well, because I'm a heterosexual male. Oh, you know, me and my old lady ain't getting along right now. It's like, all right, y'all gonna have your arguments. You gonna have your spats. Like, that just happens. But you can't, never go to bed mad. That never helps. But just get over it. Like, talk about it like adults. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's easy. Or, you know, if you're some of my younger viewers and listeners, things like that. Oh, you know, my parents are always on my case. On your case because they love you. They just want the best for you. There's no handbook on parenting. There's no manual on parenting. There might be parenting for dummies, but they don't do nothing. Like, parenting is a very intricate job because every child is different. And every parent, you know, they're there, well, hopefully. Like, good parents, like, you know, they're for the kids, and they just want the best for their kids, and they want to do their best job raising their kids. So if they're on your case, yeah, they're on your case. But at that same token, you live with them. You ain't paying no bills in there. Just shut up and do what they tell you. You feel me? Like, it's simple stuff. But it's things like that. Like, just put things in perspective. Like, you could be dead, flat broke. And when I say flat broke, I mean on the streets being homeless. No shade to the homeless people out there, because some people just, you know, caught a bad rap. But, you know, you could be dead, homeless, and that's about it. Or in jail. You feel what I'm saying? With a life sentence, like, you're not getting out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it could always be worse. So be happy in whatever position you in, because it will get better. You just gotta change your mentality, because the law of attraction is real. Once you think negative shit happens. Once you start thinking positively, positive shit happens. It's all a matter of just up here, baby. So it's all a matter of up here. That's all it is. But that's about all I got in my show notes. This is a quick little 45 or like 40 some odd a minute episode. These will get a lot more, probably. They might be. I'm gonna try to keep them under an hour. You know, just give y'all some quick shit and keep moving, because, you know, the other podcasts are about an hour long anyway. So I hope y'all enjoyed Thoroughbred. Hold on, I gotta take another swig. I hope y'all enjoyed Thoroughbred Thoughts. Thoroughbred Thoughts is Thoroughbred Talks. Shout out to the Hokage Thoughts. That's where it came from. But hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. I'm gonna holla at y'all. As far as how often I'm gonna do these, it depends. I might do them bi-weekly. I might drop 2 in 1 week. You never know, because life is always going, baby, and there's always some type of news I could always talk about. Peace.